Day, and I am a senior economics tutor for OneClass. And today we're just going to go over a couple of economic questions. How it's going to work is there's a bunch of questions you guys have submitted. Our junior tutors would have given an answer, and I'm just going to walk you through the thought process on how to achieve those answers. A little bit about myself is I have a bachelor's in economics, and I currently work for one of the big five banks as an analyst. So, with that being said, let's just get started right away. All right, so question number one. What is GDP? How is it calculated? What would happen to the economy's GDP if the economy suddenly made the production of a good or service which was previously legal and now illegal? Next, based on your analysis of what would happen to GDP, what are the advantages and disadvantages this economy may experience? So our junior tutor answered, GDP, or gross domestic product, is a measure of the wealth or economy of countries. GDP is the total value of all goods produced within the borders of the country by both the native and the foreign population. GDP can be easily measured by the simple formula GDP, which is Y. So let's just write that down. So Y equals C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So that's a formula, and C equals consumption, I equals investments, G equals government spending, X equals export, and M equals imports. So we could also call this over here NX for net exports, and NX, which is net exports, is just equals to exports minus imports. Okay, so let's see what else they said. Production approach, total GDP equals total GDP is the sum of the gross value added by institutional units that are resident in the economy plus taxes minus subsidies. Okay? If we see from above approaches, if something gets banned or their production becomes illegal, then it will hit the economy very hard, as lots of people would lose jobs, which results in a fall in consumption because they would have no money, and at the same time investments would also fall as the entire production falls. So I agree with that. So let's just get into this a little further. If we look at the production approach here, we can also see two things happening. First, a fall in production, and second, a fall in taxes as the government gets sales tax and other taxes. We can therefore conclude that removing the production of any good would reduce GDP. For example, banning alcohol might have larger social benefits, but at the same time it would cost a very large economic cost. So I agree with this. So let's use the example of alcohol. And if you took away alcohol if you made alcohol illegal, then consumption of alcohol, which is C, would go down. And again, investments would also go down. And depending on what country we are, if alcohol is one of our biggest goods that we export to other countries, you could see our exports go down, which again reduces GDP. However, if alcohol was something that we imported, then M would go down, which is imports, and that actually has a positive outlook on GDP because we're always subtracting imports from total gross domestic product. And then if we look at it from the production level, for the production approach, so it's total GDP again, plus taxes minus subsidies. So let's just erase this right now. Again, alcohol isn't really taxed in Ontario, but let's say in the country that we're using here, there's a tax charged on alcohol, then government spending would also go down because of taxes. And government spending is also equals to taxes minus subsidies. So if if you make alcohol illegal, then taxes go down, and thus that reduces overall GDP. And then the advantages: a large social benefit, so shifting of investment into another existing industry or a rise of a new industry. So again, this is a positive because I guess maybe whatever substitute or whatever substitute you could use for alcohol might not necessarily get you drunk. It creates an entry for those industries, or to create a new industry, and just that overall has a positive outtake in GDP because a new company or a new industry being created adds to total consumption. And disadvantages would be loss of jobs and the fall in GDP. So we've already gone over how it would reduce GDP, but the loss of jobs is just pretty straightforward, is that if you make alcohol illegal, the makers of alcohol in the country lose jobs. The individuals that would work at the places like the LCBO would also lose their jobs. So this answer right here is complete, and I'm in agreement with everything our junior economic tutor wrote over here. So let's just go ahead and verify that solution.